program is not necessarily those of WOKB, staff, and management of Unity Broadcasting.
This is the Proverbs 1821 group, and I am truly your host, Dr. Todd Hall, along with my host, Dr. Sonia Mixon and Dr. Keith Carey. Our objective is to get people to think before they speak. Proverbs 1821, death and life is in the power of the tongue. They that love it shall eat by the fruit thereof. On the tip of your tongue is either your funeral or your future. Sit back, listen, and engage. This is the Proverbs 1821. She's on there. Hey, no joke, no time to play. It's going down. You're listening to the Proverbs 1821 group. We are a think tank. The opinions are just that, researched, not rehearsed. 4 points to a square. No one's wrong, no one's right. You take it and apply it to your life. We are all one sentence, one word, one phrase, one paragraph from either saving our marriages or losing them, getting fired, a promotion, or getting hired. Think before you speak. Filter before you falter. So many people don't understand. Words is how the world was created, and God said, let there be, and it was. So as I'm talking to my guests, you might hear some very controversial statements back and forth. But this is not an argument. This is a dialogue. Think about it. You that are watching right now and saw that old beautiful lady sit across from me, she is the owner and proprietor of this station, Shanti. That's who she is. And I'll be introducing her shortly. In the back, the Hall of Fame. That's James Hall, the professor from New York, my cousin. Blood. On one side, you'll hear R&B, jam, groove me, let's chill, I miss you. That's Aaron Hall, Nasty Man, Damien, Crazy Legs, Teddy Riley. On the gospel, you hear my praise is my weapon. That's me singing on Heritage and Melanie Daniels. And you'll hear James Hall. And we got some more Halls that you would have to hear. Y'all know, always, the one that's the most gorgeous is late. Y'all already know she getting it today, baby. She on it. Yep. Y'all see her. Rose just walked in. I'm gonna send Rose a invite too, and Shanti can tell her what to do. She'll have to cut her phone down, but y'all will see her on my screen today. Cause we're gonna have a great dialogue. I'm gonna spruce it up here today, y'all. I was nice to her the last time. Then I let her take off on last Friday because she had a business meeting, and ain't nothing like sitting with two women that are succeeding. Nothing like sitting with women of success. Nothing. And I mean that from my heart. I have respect for both of them. I admire them. I love what they do. I love what they bring to the world, to the secular world, to the kingdom, to the business world, just to the world at large. And both of them are mothers, and they're successful mothers. Both of them have stories that they have survived, and y'all are listening to probably the talk show that could go viral, y'all. Y'all just need to understand. Y'all talking to the viral. Now, listen, I ain't lying to you. I'm waiting on Rose to sign on, and they will show it as soon as she accepts it. 169 of you are on here, and if all 169 will tell another 169 just by inviting one person, you will get it all day on there, y'all. Y'all can see them. You hear me? She's looking at the wrong thing. She's on mine. She can't see herself over here. She's on the man's show where everybody is. And I'm talking about everybody. I can't even name all of you. I will watch your questions. I will watch your comments on today. But my guest today, I'm going to let them introduce themselves in short, and I'm going to set up this dialogue, is Rose Thomas. And she is such a great person. You all have met her briefly, but never have y'all met this next woman because she's always out buying radio stations. She is a phenom to me. Shantae Prasad is the business owner and proprietor of one of the fastest, most growing known stations here in the state of Florida, WOKB. Let me start with Rose. Rose, introduce yourself. It's good to have you.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm Rose Thomas. I'm just happy to be here. Oh, I know I'm a little late. I had a business meeting that I had no clue about, but
that's always. Y'all hear that? And that's going to fit right into this conversation. Go ahead.
No, my lender called me out the blue. But no, I'm happy to be here, especially with Bishop and Shanti. Shanti's a great friend of mine. Bishop, he's dear to my heart. Just happy to be here.
Y'all hear that? I'm dear to her heart. Y'all remember that, okay? Okay, so you all remember that. Shanti.
Yes, sir.
I don't know how, but introduce yourself. Now, nothing's blocking y'all on my feed. On my feed, y'all are directly seen, visible. No mic's blocking you or anything. So just
so they can look
free.
at all of our facial expressions.
Oh,
so
they
when
see
you go
everything.
in hard on us later,
They
we'll
see
be able
everything.
to make those faces.
They see everything. Introduce yourself.
This is Shanti Prasad, owner of WOKB and Unity Broadcasting. I know most of you guys know me if you come out to the convocation every year. I always make my presence. I always try to be there. Supporting as many events as we can for the community. But thank you for joining. I'm excited. And I don't know what your bishop going to do to us today, but I'm ready.
All right. Listen, as you hear the full confidence in my table discourse with Salt and Pepper as my guest, this is going to be a well-seasoned conversation. I'm going to start off by saying this. And this is not being arrogant. This is not being not even confident. This is just being myself. There are not a lot of women that I've been influenced by as I travel the country. I respect all women. I find great things to say about the female gender. I've been blessed with a mother, stepmother, who is a mother as well, grandmothers. I have 2 baby sisters. I have a lot of women that I have mentored from afar and a few very close, including Dr. Mixon, who we give a shout out to. But every now and then when I meet women that are doing their thing, I mean absolutely just doing their thing, it makes me want to ask a lot of questions. It makes me want to find out what I can take from them and give to women when I travel the country and I do women's conferences. I do about 10 a year. And I speak to a group of women, and I try to be as beneficial as I can. But here's where I am today. And you two don't have to know much Bible as I, but I'll never be as much woman as you, see? So the scores are even.
Oh, we're really even.
Yeah, I'm saying. Yeah, I'm just saying
Even
the
playing
score
field.
is even, that I'll never be as much woman as you all will be. And you may not know scriptures like I, but it's fine. And this is a Bible-based platform, but we talk about all things. This is what it says in Proverbs 18, which is the name of my show. It says, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing, and he obtains favor with the Lord. But then in Proverbs 31, it says, who can find a virtuous woman? Her husband doth safely trust in her. That's the condensed version. Seems to me that they're 2 different women, because one says she can be found, and the other one says she cannot. So I'm very moved today to produce a challenge, because the one that cannot be found because she's doing her own business. That's what Proverbs 31 says. She's a merchant ship. She's buying property. See, y'all don't know the Bible, but I don't know women like y'all. She's merchant property. She even has children. This one then gets married. She is virtuous, but not a virgin. So This one, it says, who can find her, because her prices fall above rubies, which means she cannot be bought. She's not moved. She's not for sale. But the other one, it doesn't give any traits about her. It just says, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtains favor with the Lord, which means marriage is a good thing. So I want to know, which woman do y'all consider yourselves? If a man found you, are you his good thing, or are you the Proverbs 31 woman who's doing her thing, and if he can find you, he's cool?
I say I'm both.
Let's go. Rock with it. Go ahead. Because you got to explain that.
Well,
Because they're both married,
they're both married.
but they're both
But
different
don't
women.
you equally need to be both?
It depends. Come
No.
on.
I'm going to say I'm the one that you find.
That you
Like,
have to find. You
yeah,
got to go out and find me
definitely.
because I'm too hard to find.
I could be in the midst of just life. Life itself just takes its course. This one, as he mentioned, she's doing her own thing. She's buying property. She's living life. She has a child. She has children. I think
So then you're not the one that he's got to find. You're the one of who can find, if he can find.
yes.
But you
okay.
also have a personal life, so you're still allowed to go out and enjoy life itself. So you can be found. You just have to be in the right space.
But the thing is, would he know you as a wife or know you as a merchant? This is what I'm saying. Would he still like you when he finds out that you're a businesswoman, doing your property, doing your thing, comfortable around men who have more than him? Or does he just want a wife from Proverbs 18, home, 9 to 5, come in? I don't think neither one of you are that kind of woman, but let's find out.
No, I think that he would be comfortable with me being the merchant and understanding that I know.
Would be or have to be?
He has to
Go
be.
on and tell the truth.
He
Y'all,
has
you know,
to
y'all
be.
being.
He
I sat
has
with
to
y'all
be.
2 Fridays ago.
You know, he really has to be, because at that point I can easily go into my feminine energy once I'm at home and with him, and be encouraging and be nurturing in the home, situation dynamic. But that's not going to stop me from going out there and producing for us as a family.
All right. Well, I think the question, and I want you to bounce back and forth, is: would any of you stop your merchantship for a man?
No.
I'm not going to say no to that. I think that's a conversation between him and I.
Hey, Rose is being nice to y'all. Shanti, why you say no?
Well, because this is what I know. This is how I am groomed, right? I was raised to be independent, to run this business particularly, right? So I can't stop what I'm doing. I might be able to give responsibilities to other people so I can have a little bit more free time, but I'm still going to manage my properties, manage my radio stations.
Well, I got to say something about a real man, which I am that. We're not stopping our merchantship for y'all.
Right.
I'm just making that very known.
I don't think a man should, but if a man comes, if my husband comes to me and says, hey, I think I have a bigger opportunity, and I think it may pull you from what you're doing in some aspects, I'm not going to disagree with him.
So you said husband.
Yeah.
My thing is, both of these scriptures said, after we have found you, would you stop what you're doing for the relationship?
Oh, not for the relationship. Absolutely not.
Well, then how do we get from stage 1 to married and then stopping? If we accepted you as a merchant when we married you, why would we then turn around and ask you to stop what you're doing because we want more time with you? If we want more time with you, then we're saying that we have time to give you as well.
Right.
So how do we clear this? Because the honest opinion is a lot of people are not who they are when they marry, when they dated. It's not the same. You are not who you are when you date than when you get married.
I think that's a tough question.
Because
Just-
when we date, we get to go out, go home. We get to fuss, go to our separate places. When we marry, we got to be there.
you're a union when you're married.
You're a union, and you're supposed to be able to work together.
So that's why I say I can't confidently say no, I wouldn't, because that's a conversation when we're married that
Yeah.
we would need to have together.
my money is my money, your money is your money, or your money is your money and my money is our money? What's
Oh,
If we're married,
I'm gonna be right
Jess.
back because I got a contractor calling me 1 second.
Go ahead,
I'll be right,
do
right,
that.
right
See,
back.
that's what I like, merchant. To me,
Right back.
that's merchant. That leaves you and I, Rose.
oh gosh.
So I want to know, my
won't be
money
gone
is
long.
my money, your money's your money, or our money's our money. How does this work?
Our money that we have together is our money. Your money is your money. My money is my money. We all have our safety nets, but we do have money within one another. Like that's family money.
So then there's 3 sets of money.
Definitely.
Why? I'm with it, but why?
I just feel it's necessary as a woman that, a confident woman, you just need to have your nest. And as a confident man, you need to have your nest. I don't think everything needs to be, and this is my opinion, everything financially does not need to be put into a pot.
So, prenup?
Absolutely.
Uh-oh. Hold on. I got all of my writers writing. They writing now for
Absolutely.
And listen, this is a woman that is for prenups.
Absolutely.
Now, let me say this, and I can be wrong. No one's wrong on my show. These are opinions. We filter our thoughts. If this woman has just said she's for prenups, it's because she's got money. Hold on. I have never seen a woman that does not have a certain amount of success get with a successful man and say, we need a prenup.
We do.
Are you saying this from a successful woman standpoint or from a standpoint of all women? Help me. Be honest. If she lie, y'all know I'm going to get her.
Successful woman, because my assets, my equity positions are something that I've earned and I've worked hard for. So I'm sure you're in the position where you have things that you've worked hard for as well. And we need to respect those boundaries. The Bible says we don't live without boundaries, right? Like we need boundaries. They're necessary. So I think those are boundaries that we shouldn't tap into. A prenup is
I am watching your face. They are watching your face. They
100%.
are amazed. I have never seen a woman so captivated by protecting her goods from who she said, till death do you part. Like, where's everything going if we're together till death do us part?
I'm not protecting our goods that we've secured together, but I am protecting what I've worked hard for.
From who?
From a bad, I mean, things can go left. We have to be realistic. I mean, going into a marriage, it's still a form of business in some capacity.
I like this flow of conversation, so don't look at me as if to say, should you say what you want to say? I mean, I love this flow of the conversation.
It is, and that's just my opinion. But I do want to strategically place myself in a good position.
All right, I'm telling all of you men, see, that's why I told the men to sign on. Y'all better up your game, because the odds have shifted. It's the woman saying prenup. Years ago, you never heard that. None of you men, because they were relying upon us. They don't rely upon us anymore. And that's where I'm coming from the scripture. The Proverbs 18 woman, she's a wife that can be found, but it gives no traits. It just says, he that findeth her findeth a good thing, and he gets favor with the Lord. That's a good thing, favor, but there's a word greater than good. It's called great. So she's not great. See, y'all are missing my approach. She's not great. She's good. But that great woman, that virtuous woman in 31, who I believe I'm sitting at the table with them, just said prenups. This girl just said she would want a prenup.
Absolutely.
And the reason why she wants a prenup is the things that she had acquired that made her successful without him. And she wants him to have a safety net, if I'm saying it right, for the things he acquired without her. And then the things that they will acquire together. Shanti, prenup, no prenup.
I would have to think about, well, because I've been married before. I was married for 20 years. I got married when I was very young, had my kids when I was very young. After my divorce, or during my divorce, I found myself wanting to have a prenup. I should have had a prenup. I didn't know I was going to have what I had when I had it. And I ended up having to pay my ex-husband to divorce me.
You had to pay a man, an ex-husband, I don't even need any details, just the surface, to divorce you.
Yes. Because he could have came after the radio stations. I inherited the radio stations during my marriage. I bought 3 properties during my marriage. At my divorce, I lost all of my properties because of foreclosure, and I had to pay him to divorce me so he wouldn't take some of the assets from the radio station. And now that I'm in a new relationship, I have thought about, if I decide to get married again, do I want to sign a prenup? Because he has his own stuff and I have my own property, but together we will gain together. And whatever we invest together could be split, be bought together.
This is what the Bible says, in case you two ladies don't know where I'm going. I'm sure you'll read Proverbs 31 after this is over. I'm sure
Yes.
both of you will. It says, her husband does safely trust in her. That prenup thing scares me. But at the same time, hear me as a man, I'm with it. I'm only with it because I'm older. If I was younger, I would not want a prenup because I am somewhat announcing into the spirit realm, I expect this not to work.
So that's
Okay.
that's the reason why I'm thinking.
Yeah, I
don't
am
know.
basically saying I possibly married the wrong person.
And see, I don't look at it like that.
I know, because you said marriage was a form of business.
It's a
I'm
form of
mentally
business.
writing everything, and you've never been married.
Yeah,
She has, I have, you haven't, so you probably don't know what we know.
but in the time that I was engaged prior,
What's that?
I was
Uh,
engaged.
Upgrade marriage?
I had
That's
already
upgrade dating?
No, I had already.
Engagement, upgrade dating?
No, I
It's
had
the thought of
already.
being married.
Yeah, I had. No, I'm saying I had already contacted my attorney and was working on a prenup. Like it was just second nature. Like, this is what we need to do in order for us to get to this point.
But that means you were unsure whether
Perhaps.
who you were. You didn't get married.
No, I didn't. You're correct.
That means you were unsure. I believe that if a person meets somebody that they're 100% sure, you can get one, but that's between both people saying they want it. But if two people know that they're supposed to be together, I don't think a prenup is necessary, because even if you break up, you will let each other have what they have.
And that's an adult conversation to have.
Yeah, that's
especially
something.
when you're at this
I need to
stage.
feel safe with
Right.
you. I don't
I
need
need to know that we are on the same page.
But why can't we do that in writing?
There are some people that do. I just know for myself where I'm at today in my life, in my relationship that I am in. I know what I come with. I know what I bring to the table, and I also know what he is bringing to the table. And it's just a conversation that we need to have. Am I going to sign one? I don't know yet. I'm not there yet, but I have thought about it. But I've also already had so much loss.
So maybe I should ask this. What is a prenup to both of you? We'll start with Rose. What is a prenup?
It's just a contract indicating if we separate, we go our separate ways. These are the assets that we're going to split. This is how we're going to handle our finance. Like, a prenup to me is basically the same thing as me going into a joint venture with someone. Now, we're all good now, but when stuff hits the fan, things can go completely left. And you, my business partner, could be my worst nightmare.
So what happens when you have children in this marriage?
Then we have children.
No, I'm saying, what type of prenup? How do you?
Well, if you have children and you have your prenup, then that needs to be an addendum in your
Yeah,
prenup,
that's-
because what's going to happen with your assets and how it will be divided for your
But
children.
it's not an addendum. That's a will. That's a trust. So when the kids get involved, you transition that. You still have your prenup as it is. Because the prenup, you can add an addendum, but the kids wouldn't be necessarily an addendum. That's the will. That goes into a whole nother scenario. See, a living will. These are things that you must have.
All right,
a
well
trust.
then maybe I should break it down like this: nuptials, being that I perform the marriages. That's what I do. They come to the priest to perform these marriages. So
I think a prenup is more of a security.
okay, but nuptials are covenant agreements between two parties deciding to live as one party.
Correct.
But let's be honest. How often? What's the ratio on that as being successful and not? And
The
them
ratio on every first marriage worldwide is 55%.
See, that's
The
not
second
good.
one is 62 to 67. The third one is 75. So
So you
just
mean
in
tell me I
case,
got another marriage to go before I can get to the
Oh, don't say
75?
that.
Oh, we signed a prenup.
Listen, don't-
See,
but
I'm
see,
just-
exactly. So those numbers, from a business aspect, those numbers are horrible to me.
hold on. I hate to bring the Glenn, get to the mic a minute because I saw you shake your head, and I just want to make a statement because I saw you shake your head. You have my boy Frankie in there. He's been married 30-something years. You've been married how long?
35.
All right, both of you. And I don't want either one of you to let my audience or these women believe that there were not moments in that marriage that divorce was not a discussion.
Uh-huh.
Was it?
Well, yeah. Uh-huh. It was. But I'm sitting here, I'm listening to these ladies, and they have a whole different perspective.
It's not
on-
the same, huh?
It's not.
I don't know what culture they from, but it
Especially
ain't the same.
Rose.
Especially Rose.
The business
yeah, Doc. Whoever's gonna get her better
approach
be
to
ready.
marriage is something it's different.
Never heard of it.
I think from Rose's perspective is that because she has built this network for herself and she has profitable assets, although she entertains the idea of being married, she just wants to make sure that what she has built is secured for her son.
I
'Cause
get
this
it.
is a son
but
outside
maybe
of this particular.
this, and then come back and attack me. Women and men who are single, we build our lives, if we're healthy, with everything in mind, I'm going to succeed and
Correct.
hopefully retire way before I hit the grave if
Correct.
I'm healthy. But in working as a single, aren't we working with something in mind that this cannot all be for me, it has to be for who I marry? Like, I built a successful life. I have a successful life as a man. I live in a nice home, drive nice automobiles. I have things saved. I have some investments. And one day the Lord actually told me, you think I gave you all that just for you? That would be ridiculous. One person does not need this. So if I find the person that I'm supposed to share it with, because Adam created a garden and God said it's not good for the man to be alone, I make for him a helpmeet, because that big thing can't be for just him. So what I'm going to do, let her come in and lease it, rent my space.
You're going to
I'm-
share. You're going to share
We're
your
gonna
space.
share our space.
But sharing it with her having no right to it when it's over, she's renting my kingdom.
So that's the thing. I think that we have a disconnect because a prenup doesn't necessarily
That sounds
have
so
to
terrible.
be that.
It sounds
yeah,
worse,
that
doesn't
it? That sounds
straightforward.
worse when you say
Yeah, it doesn't have to be that. Like, people have this persona that a prenup is horrible. It could probably just be, hey, this particular equity position here, there is secured for her child, but everything else is vulnerable. Everything else
But
is
that's
up for-
not the way you first said it.
But
That ain't the way you first. We
But
got
That's
it on
because
tape.
you're playing with words and
But
you're making
exactly,
us think.
but
No,
this-
right. I have
this
to
is-
because this is what I do. But it's called prenup, which
Yes.
means you cannot get married at all. Prenup means you're talking about nuptials
Yes.
before you get married.
Exactly.
And I'm telling you, 80% of women who loved a man and wanted to marry him when they said prenup never got that man. 80%. 55% of marriages don't work, right? 80% of prenuptials before marriage don't work. It should be discussed before you fall in love. I'm talking about before sex and everything. See, most people get involved, they get entangled, talk about marriage, prenups. I think the prenup should be the first conversation between the first few dates.
Okay, wait a second.
yeah,
But are we
Because
talking
then
about prenups? If we're talking about prenups, 90% of the time, they're not discussing prenups in their first marriage, because first marriages are usually in your early 20s.
Well, that's because we weren't
Mid-20s.
taught by our parents, because our parents and grandparents stayed together whether they liked each other or not. That was a different culture.
That was a different culture. So what I'm saying is, we don't really discuss prenups until we're probably in our
And I want to
Later
get some clarity on prenups. When you go see an attorney regarding a prenup,
Here we
there
go.
are so many different samples of what a prenup can look like. People have
How you know?
Because I told you
How
I went
you
to
know?
an attorney. I was preparing one.
She done did the
Listen.
paperwork.
So,
All right, she went, but now we're back to she has the insight on prenups, but didn't marry anybody.
but it wasn't because of the prenup. No,
But I'm just saying,
it wasn't because of the
if
prenup.
you went for the prenup, then you were considering marrying the person.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it's the consideration of marriage that made you say, I think I better work on this part, right?
But it's just the word sounds so hard.
I
but
want it
it's-
to sound hard. And the
it's
reason why I want it
not.
to sound hard is anyone that's thinking about marriage should know and believe, if God is in the dynamic, I chose to be with this person for better or for worse. And if worse is losing my crap, I lost it. Better or worse, rich or poor. This is something that needs marriage. Two things are the biggest things that you could ever make a decision on: buying a house and who you marry.
So what you're saying is, if we're going into this marriage with a communication of, and this is love, and we're going in all in, that if we're bringing everything to the table, it's an investment for this marriage, which means that we are going into this marriage, we are going into this covenant all in, win or lose. And if we lose everything together.
Listen, I told Rose I'm for prenup, especially, hear me, when it benefits me, in that I married somebody I fell in love with that really don't have anything, right? Then I would think prenup. Rose thinks prenup because she came in successful as a woman. But if Rose was broke as a woman and a man loved her, I wonder would the prenup psyche be the same?
Oh yeah, it would still be the same.
Not mine.
It'd still be the same. I mean, I
How?
just feel
You
like
would have to build with him if you came with nothing. We can't prenup on nothing.
yes. Listen, when I was doing the prenup with my son's father, I didn't have much, but I knew I knew I was going towards a path.
Okay, so you were doing prenups, but notice what you said. Whatever we acquire when we get married is ours.
Exactly.
So if you'd have married your son's father and became who you are now, he gets access to that.
But it's still up for debate. But that prenup says, hey, you can't take it all from me. Or it just it clarifies the boundaries. That's it. It's just clarifying things. Hey, when we came into this with nothing, but now we have this. So you can't take everything, or I can't take
Well, now we
everything.
do want you to know that you're not being ganged up on. We want you to know that you're on the show
No, it's-
that needs a debate. We need this
No,
because let me tell you something. You scare me now.
No, it's just, it's clarifying. It's like we're not taking away from each other. We're going to be fair. And sometimes when you're in a divorce, my parents had a horrible divorce. And had my mother had a prenup, and my mother, she was successful. She had her career. My father had his career.
But they're in a different culture.
It was a messy divorce. But had there been prenup in place, everyone would have split everything equally and went about their business. But
So why
because
couldn't they do that?
feelings were involved,
Feelings are
emotions.
involved.
So
Emotions
at
are
that point,
involved.
having the paperwork and the proper contract in place, I am not going to feel
So
bad
that's why
about
you
it.
are so strong about what she's doing. Now you're bringing up another.
Yeah.
You're
You
bringing
see
up
what I'm
something for
saying?
myself now, because at the end of the day, my parents got divorced. They didn't have a prenup, but my mom was the one who signed for all of this. So technically, everything belongs to her, but she lost the most.
My mother
Exactly.
and father got a divorce. This is the only thing my father has failed in since I've been a child, if we want to say failed, was marriage. My father was the first black African-American partner to a firm on Wall Street called Benjamin Jacobson and Sons. First black man, no college. My father was very wealthy, got a divorce, and his wife got everything.
You see?
So hear me, everything. Not because of a prenup or not. He gave it to her.
And that's different.
Hold on. But I'm saying, even without the prenup, he gave it to her, which means he believed him. from his perspective, that's who I married, better for worse. She feels that she deserves this. My father's the kind of guy, he gave it to her. My thing is, why would we get to the place of marriage and through the whole marriage be prepared
For a divorce.
for something that we signed for to say this could happen? Knowing what the nuptial covenants are, not the prenup, the nuptials are sickness, health, better for worse, till death do us part. Are we going to change those two? Because you can. I just need you to know that you can change those words.
I'd rather not, but I'm going to compare this to you get in your car every day and you don't think you're going to have an accident every day, but you have that insurance.
You eat every day and you don't think you have cancer.
And you have health insurance. So I think it's the safety net, not wanting it to happen, but I am prepared. And I think I just live a life.
But if we're married and you get cancer, and I'm married and you've had no cancer 20 years and you get cancer,
we have insurance.
No, you expect me, regardless of what insurance is, you expect me
To keep the business running.
to be there with you.
Yes, but
But
that
what
has
about her
nothing
No,
to
I'm
do.
talking about the sickness and health. You expect me, if I have to clean your behind, wash you,
Yes.
lay down while
And I
you're
would do the
skinny
same.
and looking decrepit, right?
Yes.
That's towards death, even if it goes that far.
Yes.
You expect me to be there.
And I would do the same for my partner.
Well, then the money's death too. It's the same thing.
See, I think
Well, if something was to happen and she does become sick, then who runs the business? Who continues making the money?
It has to be
Right.
me.
There has to be the partner.
And she would be having to teach me
What
the
to do.
business that she's in.
And now you've taught him everything you know, so now he can go and do whatever he needs to do.
I'm saying it's the same, except this money thing is a little different. I catch it, and I'm not for it. I'm not against it. I am entertaining the prospects of boundaries, because when I got a divorce, I got nothing, zero, because I didn't sign a prenup, nor do I regret not signing one. I got zero. My wife had everything. I had nothing but potential. I'm so glad I didn't get my stuff till after the marriage was over. You see, mine is a little different from yours.
But-
I deserved nothing, even though I worked. I know as a man that if I couldn't pay all the bills like I wanted to, use her car to go to work, came back, this place was hers, now I'm paying rent.
not
but
all
still,
men think that way.
I know, but I'm just telling some of my brothers who are writing, I see the writing, that if Rose came in worth $100 million and we met and I'm worth $1 million, I don't care about Rose's $100 million, personally. I do care that Rose loves me. And if Rose talks about that $100 million over my $1 million, we're getting a divorce, not because of the money, not because of prenups, but because everything should be one. When I say that, that's what I mean. Rose and I are worth $101 million.
Besides that prenup sitting in the desk drawer.
Rose and I, when we go to the bank, when we go sit at business tables as husband and wife, we are worth $101 million. If Rose was to say at the meeting, my husband's worth $1 million and he can do this, I'm worth $100 million, and we understand that because we have an understanding, we're getting a divorce.
But I don't think that's appropriate for anyone to bring up. Like,
It's going to be brought up all over the world. It's going to be brought up. So you say it's not appropriate. It don't have to be.
I don't think I'm not the type of person that would inject that into a conversation like he's worth this. So I guess it goes back to how.
If white people sat with you and I, and I'm not biased, and I've been in these meetings, and they say to us, we hear y'all want to start 3 businesses. What are you both worth?
We're worth 101 because we are stronger together versus separate.
So we're worth 101 at a table, but not on paper.
We are worth 101 in the public.
We have that contract in place. I can't defer from that.
Together we're 101.
Because I would never let my partner. He's the leader in this household. I would never disgrace him in front of anybody.
So if I'm worth $1 billion and you're worth $100 million, what are we worth?
Together, we put that number together.
But now you didn't look like that when I said you made more than me. But if I'm worth $1 billion and you worth $100 million,
It's the same regardless. Even if you're worth $1 million and I'm worth $100 million, we're still together.
So we're married. We had 3 children. We have a prenup. You follow me?
Okay.
We have a prenup. I made $1 billion. You're worth $250 million. Together, we're worth $1 billion, $250 million. We have 3 kids. We stay together 10 more years. We decide we're going to get a divorce. You want some of my billion?
During that time.
No, I said my billion.
No, your billion is your billion, but during that time, if your billion went to 10 billion, then
Okay,
yes,
we're talking about if, but I'm still saying.
But see, that's not.
Do you want, no, because we're growing our money separate.
No, we're not. See,
no, I'm
you're
saying we're clocking it at the day we got married. Now from here on, it's our money, right?
Yes.
I'm with you. Now it's our money. But would I have made 10 billion without you?
Oh, that's your money. That 10 billion that you originated prior to me.
Yeah,
that
but I'm
is your
saying
money.
if I make 10 more billion without you being in my business, you're just in my marriage.
No.
Is that yours
no,
too?
No, if I make 10 billion, that is yours. Yours is mine. So that's where I decipher. So your billion, 10 billion, that's your money. My 250 million, that's my money. But
So if I
we
have
acquire-
$1 billion and I say to you, I got a deal, baby. I need 200 million of your dollars while we're married.
Oh yeah, we're gonna make that work.
Would you give me the
Yes,
200 million?
absolutely.
So why are we signing a prenup?
But it's still at the end of the day, knock on wood, if this should work.
It's going to work because your marriage is going to work.
but
We
you-
don't talk about marriage from.
But it's
From
that
an if point.
security.
Yeah.
We never know.
We do ifs during dating and engagements, and you've been safe with your ifs very.
I'm again coming. I guess looking at things.
So you've
what
not
I've
met a
seen.
man yet who you would have married, or well, no, because you're not married. Who you'd be like, the
You
heck
know
with
what?
it.
Let's just go with it.
Yeah,
No.
Not
it's
yet.
gonna be a while for you to get married, but come on.
You may meet someone where your guard, but are you afraid to let your guard down?
No.
See, now you guys have me thinking, like, do I really want a prenup now?
I mean,
'cause if
Listen, you
wanna
have
be
to
all
think
in,
about it. You have to
if
think
you're
about
gonna be
it.
all in, you have to.
And
be
I
all
like
in.
that she brought it in, but you have to think about
it's
it.
a conversation piece that you, like Bishop said, you'd have to have with your partner. I've met men.
I think early though.
And I've dated men who a prenup was. It was absolutely. This is what we have to
And
do.
there are
And
some
I wasn't
men who want
offended
it because they have their
Yes.
own assets. I think it has to do with your
Yeah.
age, and I think it really has to do with what you have.
I
invested.
do think age plays a
Yes,
part.
I think age plays a huge part.
And she's way older than her age. Whatever age she is, and she told them,
I'm still a millennial.
yeah, I'm saying, but
Right.
she's thinking way in advance.
right. Because
You've already gotten a
because she's
divorce,
seen the loss.
and that's why you already wrote a prenup that you don't have because you already expected not to work.
But
No.
she's already
No,
she's
don't say
already
that.
seen how it works through her parents.
I've just seen.
Yeah,
She's
but
already
we
seen how it
cannot
works through her
utilize
family.
that because the thing is, every person, like I said, that thinks about buying a house, that's a 30-year mortgage normally. That's something you're stuck with.
Yeah.
It could kill you to keep it. And who you marry or let in that house can either make that house a palace or a prison. Those are the two decisions that we have not been taught to actually take our time and think about.
Okay, so I've had men that I've dated in the past too that were completely on board with the prenup. Like, that's a conversation piece that we had, and they wanted to protect their assets. Now, me as a woman, did I feel offended? No, because it was on my mind too. Like,
But now most women do feel offended.
but I didn't.
Right, but I'm saying, have you talked to women? Y'all are women. Most women
well, the
that
women
don't
who
have
feel
as
offended
much.
don't bring anything to the table.
That's what I want to hear. I've been waiting to hear
You
this
don't
part.
bring anything to the table. If you're offended, you're not bringing anything to the
All
table.
right, now you're back to the two women. They're two different women
Now we're
getting
back to the-
married. One is good, one is a merchant. The Bible says in Proverbs 31, that particular woman, this is where I want to go, makes her husband sit among great men. She's the reason why he succeeds. So I'm trying to figure out.
Maybe it's because of her thought process, how she thinks, how she.
No, she's busy. She's doing her thing, and wherever she goes, she's mentioning her husband in a positive way. And now people want to meet the man whose woman they can't take. She makes him look like that.
That makes sense. Just like I said, when
Right.
you said the million and 100 million, we would go into the room as 101.
All
They
right.
wouldn't be able to decipher I had the
Who's who?
100. If anything,
That's
they,
where I'm coming into saying your job for being successful as a single has to be contributory to who you would date unless he already has it, because you will determine what tables that man sits at.
Okay. It makes sense, yeah.
No, don't give in. No.
Don't give in.
No.
Okay. All right.
I don't think I'm giving in, but I do understand, and that I think I said it.
I believe certain women, especially Christian women, who succeed to the place where you all are, have been designated for a man who fully can't get where he is without you. I fully believe that. And I do believe that men who are as successful are there to help women who have been abused and lost things get it back.
You might be onto something there.
I believe no one succeeds just to succeed. They succeed that if they get in a relationship or marry somebody, it's to bring balance and value back to that particular individual.
We can't cuss on the radio.
The thoughts and opinions of this station is not those of WOKB Radio. That's
and
what
not
we're
even
supposed to
the
say.
owner of the
Not
station.
even.
Gosh.
Now, I'm just saying, y'all need to think about that.
Wow.
Because
That's
I've
a lot.
seen people fall in love with somebody, and it's real, and that person did not have the
quarter.
status quo. But after they got together, that person soared because they were practicing the biblical principle of maybe I've lost everything because God's going to give me someone that's going to balance my pain that I had and make my promise better, and vice versa. This woman, I really don't want her money, but she used her money to get me back into my good credit standing and et cetera. We're married, and now I'm going to pay her all back, and we're going to go here. I don't think people who
But
swap...
he's going to pour into her as well,
Right.
which is she's pouring into him.
Right.
They're pouring into each other, so now they're growing together.
Yeah.
And I don't think those two people can ever separate when they need each other. See, I believe people get a divorce because they don't need each other. They grow out of the space of need. I don't need you anymore.
I think people get divorced because they're getting tired, maybe because one is not pulling their own weight and they're being used.
Yeah, because they don't need it. Now I'm stopping what I'm doing because he or she going to do it for me, and they abuse that.
Right. And there's no growth between the two, so that's why that's...
But if two people became happy, whole, and peaceful by meeting each other, and they understand the value of what you brought to me and I brought to you, they're not trying to play Russian roulette with that. You would have to be crazy. People have, but they have to be crazy. You have to be crazy to find somebody who was with you when you was a bum, for real. Brought you up. They call it a come up. Y'all love each other. You're returning and reciprocating that love and be like, now that I'm on my feet, I need to find somebody else. Deuces.
Right.
You would have to be demon possessed, man. But I'll let y'all talk about it. Go ahead. I mean,
No, I have to agree with you there, especially if you're going to grow together. If you're pulling each other up and you're pulling the same weight, or it doesn't matter, as long as you are growing together, there would be no why would you get a divorce? Why would you walk away? If you're continuing to grow, if your finances is growing, your household is growing, you are successful. Why?
I say this, and I hope y'all come back on the show, and we got a few more minutes. I say this. When I get married, it'll be my second marriage. It will be your marriage. She says she's going to marry one time and never get a divorce. That's what I remember you saying.
Yes.
That's exactly
That's
what
the
she
goal.
Did y'all? That's the goal. No, if that's the truth, then you don't need a prenup.
said. Oh,
That's the goal.
I was just going to say the same thing.
If it's the truth,
That's
then you don't need it. But here's my point. We are a little older than her. I'm not marrying for love anymore. I want to love. I want to be loved. I'm marrying for trust.
I'm on the same page as you.
I don't care about love anymore. Love is beautiful.
As long as you
I
can
enjoy
respect me and love on me, and we can have great conversation, and we can have a great time together. We can travel together. Listen, if we can't do any of that, there's no reason for us to be together.
Mine is trust. I want you to know everything about me and still say you love me. If I can find somebody that actually says that and means it, not just say it, then I'm trusting you with me. I can become anything when I can put me into somebody's hands who loves me. But I need to be able to trust you. So when women ask me, and I've dated, I love you, then they wait for that response, and I don't say love you back. Y'all ever seen? Yeah, okay, y'all know about that.
I do. I've seen that.
And to be like, excuse me, I said I love you. And I'd be like, mm-hmm. It don't mean I don't love you. I don't care about saying love. I'll say I love you when I trust you.
And when you feel that trust. And when you can see the trust.
Yeah, because giving away love without trust is dangerous.
Mm-hmm. That's so true.
I need to trust you. I want to say things that are the worst. So if you know everything bad about me, what are we getting a prenup for? You already know.
For me,
Here go everything. I just told you everything. Everything. What are we discussing the prenup if you just told me you love me after I told you every negative thing about me? And you say, but I love you.
And we're going to make this
And
work.
you told me every negative thing about you.
I think we just, because we're still at that age. And we have invested in ourselves. I think if I was a little younger, I think I probably wouldn't. But because I'm at that age.
it would be more convincing if I was just a little bit younger. But I
Hey,
trust,
I want you to get the prenup. I'm not telling you not to, but we're standing on different grounds. We want you to get, if this Negro say he good with a prenup, get the prenup. But if you fall in love with somebody, he tell you he's not good with it, you may have just lost your husband.
that makes sense. That's
true.
the dice that I have to roll. 7-11.
Correct.
You know?
No.
But
no.
that's going to be the conversation you're going to have. I mean, it's a conversation I'm going to have very soon.
Yeah.
It's a conversation piece that you have to discuss. You have to discuss your finances before you move any further.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to get married, and every now and then when I feel marriage, my psyche is different. My psyche is I want to pay her $100,000 a year just to be my wife, even though she's got money and we're still making money. It makes no sense. That's gonna be like, here go $100,000 for putting up with me every year. Period. Just fun.
But you sound like me because when I go out to fee, I'm like, let me just pay for that because you got to deal with me, and I know I am not easy.
Yeah,
Full-time
but I'm
job.
saying she's still rich.
Yeah.
We still own the house, but I'm giving her money from my account, even though it's ours. I actually giving her something I saved before I met her to tell her, yo, you
in
putting up with me.
And that's the difference between a man and a boy or younger thinking. So all
She
that
just
comes,
called me a man.
all that
Hey,
comes
y'all
with,
heard that?
with time and age and growth. And
It's age,
growth.
age, and age.
But you know what's dangerous? We can't tell people all of this because now there's a man on here who has finally seen what Rose look like, how you speak. Somebody's going to slide into your DM. There's somebody that heard that you got somebody, but you didn't say who it was. It's going to be like, well, can I get my shot? Then there's some woman that's going to start my DM talking about, I'll take that $100,000 a year.
Listen, I was single from my divorce from 2013, and I have stayed single until recently. I was available for a very long time, but that allowed me to grow within
Can you
myself.
come back on next Friday?
Yes. I'll be
If
on
Rose
next
is free, she's more than welcome because Rose gets the last minute calls, but we want you here. I'm going to tell you something. I need to know what single is.
Friday. Okay, I got
Because here's my belief. Anybody that's been married like you and I, when we get a divorce, we're not single, we're torn.
you. We are torn and broken.
All right, so we're not single, so we need somebody who can help sew us back up, not as a charity case, but understanding you're falling in love with a piece of me.
Well, really, a lot of that comes from yourself, though, during that time.
All right, that's what
you're
I'm
alone.
saying. It took you 8 years or whatever
It
to
took me
finally
8 years to heal
get
for
into
myself.
something. Okay, all right, yeah. Hey, listen, y'all. Y'all know how I am. We getting into something new. Rose, give final words, Rose. Tell our listeners something. Miss Millennial.
Get that prenup.
Go get that
That's what she-
prenup. Go-
To your lawyer.
No, we're not going to end on a prenup note. I want to end on what Bishop said as far as trust and love. Trust yourself to know when to love. I think that's really big. You have to trust yourself to know when you're in love or when to love. Because if it's not right, it's not right. But when it's right, definitely pour into that person.
Shanti, give your closing words.
I'm going to have to agree with Rose there. I like that statement. You have to trust, and you also trust yourself. Trust yourself. and pray. So I did a lot of praying.
Absolutely.
Hey, my close is forget love, trust. If I don't trust you, you don't have access to my trust. In God we trust, or my trust funds.
I was just about to say.
I need trust. All right. Thank y'all for listening. We'll get back with you on next Friday. I know y'all are writing like crazy. I see it. Post this to your wall while it's available. I want to thank the owner
Thank you so
of
much.
many stations to come. I want to thank one of the greatest entrepreneurs, phenoms that I know, Rose. And I want to thank God for having good connections. We'll see y'all on next week.
Thank you for listening to the Proverbs 18:21 group. May it bless you and may it enhance your living. Listen, you can truly follow us on all social media platforms at Praiseologists, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We appreciate your support and your donations to help us stay on the air. God bless you and heaven smile upon you.